If we look at the psychological and spiritual universe through the lens of Carl Jung, we find a fascinating bridge between the realm of the human psyche and the dimension of the sacred. Jung believed that God, or the numinous, as he preferred to describe the experience of the divine, often reveals itself not as thunder from the heavens or an audible voice, but as a whisper in the depths of the unconscious. This whisper, however, is powerful, capable of redirecting lives and providing a greater sense of purpose. But how does this communication occur, and why do we often ignore it? For Jung, the unconscious is not merely a reservoir of repressed memories or forgotten desires, as Freud described. It is also a creative space, a stage where the self, the totality of our being, seeks dialogue with our limited consciousness. In this view, God communicates through symbols, dreams, and synchronicities. These are not direct messages, but clues that demand attention and interpretation. Much like alchemy, which deeply fascinated Jung, spiritual gold is uncovered through the careful decoding of seemingly enigmatic imagery. Dreams, for instance, are often portals to this communication. Jung wrote that dreams do not lie. They reflect hidden aspects of ourselves, sometimes pointing toward the divine. Imagine a recurring dream of flowing water. For Jung, water might symbolize the unconscious, but it could also represent purification or divine grace flowing into our lives. It's as though something greater is trying to bring something vital to our awareness. The question is, are we listening? And what about synchronicities? These seemingly coincidental yet meaningful events are a direct form of communication between the individual psyche and the universal order. When you're searching for answers and unexpectedly come across a book, a phrase, or a person that seems to address your question, this is no mere chance. Jung viewed synchronicities as acts of creation, moments where God or the collective unconscious directly intervenes in the tangible reality. Yet most of us overlook these signs. We live in a world where the frantic pace and constant technological distractions obscure our ability to notice life's subtleties. Jung would argue that disconnection from the divine, whether understood as God, the self, or the universe, is at the root of many modern psychological maladies. Anxiety, alienation, and existential emptiness, so prevalent in our time, are often symptoms of a soul yearning for reconnection. Resistance to these signs can also be explained by the concept of the shadow. Divine communication often challenges us to look within, confront uncomfortable truths, and embrace parts of ourselves we'd rather keep hidden. This is the heroic journey of integration, a process that demands courage and humility. Ignoring these divine calls, whether expressed in dreams, synchronicities, or even the intuitive voice within us, is to deny ourselves the opportunity to become more whole. If you've ever experienced a moment where the world seemed to speak to you, know that this is no coincidence. It's God, the self, or the cosmic order trying to get your attention. But what should you do with these signs? How can you interpret and integrate them into daily life? Let's dive deeper into that. Responding to divine signs or manifestations of the self is, at its core, an act of profound listening. But this listening goes beyond the ears. It's about cultivating an inner state of attention, a receptiveness to messages from the unconscious as they manifest in the many forms life offers. For Jung, interpreting these signs requires a delicate balance between reason and intuition. Not everything should be taken literally, but nor should it be dismissed as mere imagination. Dreams, which Jung called the royal road to the unconscious, demand more than superficial analysis. When we dream, we don't receive ready-made answers, but living metaphors expressed in a symbolic language. Imagine, for instance, that you dream of a massive snow-covered mountain. At first, it might seem like just a scenic image, but upon reflection, you realize the mountain symbolizes a challenge to overcome, something in your life requiring effort and courage. The snow, in turn, might represent stagnation or even purity, depending on the context. Thus, the dream becomes a multifaceted message, requiring introspection and contemplation to decode. But divine signs aren't limited to dreams. Synchronicities, moments when external events align meaningfully with internal states, serve as reminders that we live in an interconnected universe. Jung famously recounted a case of synchronicity involving a skeptical patient who shared a dream about a golden scarab. During their session, a tapping at the window caught his attention, and when he opened it, he found an insect resembling a golden scarab. This seemingly improbable event opened the patient's mind to the possibility that life held something beyond pure logic. These moments may seem small or even trivial at first glance, but Jung saw them as portals to the sacred. They remind us that a greater pattern operates within reality, something beyond our rational grasp, yet profoundly resonant with our soul. Paying attention to synchronicities is like learning a new language, the language of the universe. It requires patience, curiosity, and above all, the willingness to believe that life is richer and more meaningful than it often seems amid the rush of everyday life. However, Jung also cautioned against misinterpretation. Not all dreams are prophecies, and not every coincidence is a divine message. The key lies in developing what he called the transcendent function, an ability to integrate the conscious and unconscious so we can discern what is truly relevant to our spiritual journey. This transcendent function acts as an inner guide, helping us navigate the murky waters of personal and collective symbolism. Another crucial element of divine communication is intuition, a faculty many of us ignore or undervalue. Jung saw intuition as a form of knowledge that transcends logical thought. It's that sense of knowing without knowing why. Often, this intuitive voice is the most direct manifestation of God or the self in our lives. When we ignore it, we frequently find ourselves lost, disconnected, or living a life misaligned with who we truly are. Responding to these signs takes courage. Courage to step out of our comfort zone, confront the darkest parts of ourselves, and relinquish absolute control. God or the self doesn't speak to us in clear commands, but guides us through experiences that challenge us to grow. Every obstacle, every loss, and every moment of doubt may, in fact, be a lesson in disguise. The problem is that we often resist these teachings because they demand profound change. Incorporating the practice of listening to divine signs into daily life requires cultivating a state of presence, an openness to what Jung might call a dialogue with the unconscious. This involves engaging in practices that expand awareness and connect us to what is essential. Meditation, for example, is not merely a relaxation tool, but a powerful means of silencing both external and internal noise, allowing the messages of the self to be heard. When we meditate, we create a space within us for the sacred, often muffled by the busyness and distractions of modern life, to emerge. Another significant practice is dream journaling. Jung advocated keeping a dream journal as a way to map the messages received during the night. By recording dreams, even the most disjointed fragments, we begin to notice patterns, recurring themes and symbols that speak directly to our inner state and life journey. Moreover, the simple act of writing down dreams signals to the unconscious that we are listening, that we are willing to engage in this dialogue. The same applies to paying attention to synchronicities. Recognizing them requires a state of mindful awareness. Too often, these meaningful coincidences go unnoticed because we are too busy or dismiss them as irrelevant. Imagine you're contemplating a career change, and on the same day, you meet someone who casually mentions the exact profession you've been considering. Or perhaps you're grappling with an emotional dilemma, and when you open a random book, you find a sentence that seems to answer your inner question directly. These events are not mere chance. They are invitations to reflect, signs that something greater is at work in your life. But recognizing these signs is just the beginning. The real challenge lies in acting on them. This might mean making difficult decisions, letting go of old patterns, or stepping into the unknown. Jung believed that individuation, the process of becoming who we truly are, requires this kind of courage. Every sign received is a piece of a larger puzzle, and ignoring it is like refusing an opportunity for growth. Additionally, we must acknowledge that divine communication is not always comfortable or easy to accept. Often, it confronts us with aspects of our shadow, those parts of ourselves we prefer to avoid. A dream might reveal a trait we deny in ourselves. A synchronicity might highlight a truth we are afraid to face. This discomfort, however, is part of the transformation process. It is the darkness before the light, the chaos before creation. Creative practices can also be powerful ways to connect with the sacred. Painting, writing, music, any form of artistic expression allows the unconscious to speak. Jung himself used mandala painting as a personal practice to explore his inner world. He believed that through creation, we give form to something greater than ourselves, allowing the divine to manifest tangibly. Another crucial aspect of this journey is community. While the dialogue with God or the self is deeply personal, the support of others on a similar spiritual path can be invaluable. Reflection groups, shared readings, or even honest conversations with friends can help clarify signs and deepen our understanding. After all, the divine often communicates through others, through encounters and relationships. However, it's important to remember that this process is not linear. There will be moments of clarity and others of doubt. Some days the signs will seem as clear as daylight. On others, they may feel absent or confusing. Yet it is precisely in this ebb and flow, this dance between the visible and the invisible, that life gains depth and meaning. Connecting with the divine, whether through the subtle signs of the unconscious or external manifestations like synchronicities, profoundly transforms how we live and perceive the world. This connection is not just an isolated experience of self-awareness, it resonates across all areas of our existence, bringing clarity, purpose, and a sense of belonging to something greater. One of the most significant changes occurs in our relationship with time and choices. When we start to listen to divine signs, life no longer feels like a random sequence of events, but unfolds as a meaningful narrative. Every decision, every encounter, and even every challenge takes on new significance. Instead of resisting obstacles, we learn to see them as opportunities for growth. As Jung famously said, "What you resist persists." By embracing the lessons hidden in difficulties, we discover a transformative power within ourselves. This new perspective also helps us align our actions with our true purpose. Many people live on autopilot, driven by external pressures or societal expectations. They feel an undefined emptiness, a discomfort that points to a disconnection from the self. Divine signs, whether internal or external, often serve as reminders that we are out of alignment. They call us back to our essence, frequently demanding the courage to change course. Another powerful transformation lies in how we perceive ourselves. When we engage with the unconscious and respond to its signals, we begin to integrate aspects of our personality that we once rejected. This integration, which Jung called individuation, leads to a deeper sense of inner unity. We stop seeing ourselves as fragmented and start understanding ourselves as a cohesive whole. This process not only strengthens us, but also enhances our relationships. When we fully accept ourselves, we become more capable of accepting others as they are. Connecting with the divine also brings a new perspective on mortality and the meaning of life. Instead of fearing the end, we begin to view existence as a journey imbued with deeper layers of significance. Jung believed that humans are driven by a longing for a relationship with the eternal, with something that transcends finite life. This desire for transcendence, often expressed through religious or spiritual symbols, is a powerful force that gives meaning to our existence. When we open ourselves to this dimension, we realize that life is a continuous flow of learning and transformation. Moreover, aligning with divine signs cultivates a greater trust in life. Even in moments of uncertainty, we sense that we are being guided, that there is a higher order behind the apparent chaos. This trust is not passive. It inspires us to act with authenticity and courage, knowing that by following the call of the self, we are contributing to something greater than ourselves. Keeping the connection with the divine alive in a world filled with noise, distractions, and constant demands is a challenge that requires intention and practice. Jung recognized that the path of individuation, becoming who we truly are, is an ongoing journey. It demands effort to balance the outer world's demands with the inner call, a dance between meeting daily responsibilities and heeding the subtle messages of the self. To sustain this connection, it's essential to create moments of pause. Amid the fast pace of modern life, silence and introspection have become precious commodities. Setting aside daily time to meditate, reflect, or simply be present with oneself is a revolutionary and deeply restorative act. These practices not only create space for the divine to emerge, but also help anchor our awareness in something greater than immediate concerns. Nature also plays a vital role in this process. Jung believed that reconnecting with the natural world is a way of returning to our spiritual roots. Walking through a forest, watching the clouds drift, or feeling the earth beneath our feet allows us to touch the sacred in simple yet profound ways. Nature reminds us of our interconnectedness with the whole and teaches us the art of presence, a prerequisite for hearing divine signs. Additionally, cultivating a symbolic practice can be a powerful way to keep this communication active. Jung often used symbols to explore the unconscious, seeing them as bridges between the conscious and the divine. Creating or working with mandalas, using meaningful objects like candles or crystals, or even dedicating a space in your home for spiritual reflection can serve as tangible ways to strengthen this dialogue. But perhaps the most important aspect is the commitment to authenticity. Responding to divine signs often requires the courage to live in alignment with our inner truth, even when it challenges societal norms or external expectations. It's easy to fall into the trap of pleasing others or following a seemingly safer path, but the cost is a disconnection from the self. Jung emphasized that true spiritual progress comes from confronting the reality of who we are, with all our complexities, contradictions, and potential. This commitment to authenticity also means embracing imperfection. The spiritual journey is not linear, and there will be moments of doubt, confusion, and even resistance. There may be times when the signs seem to disappear or lose clarity. In these moments, patience becomes an indispensable virtue. Just as nature moves through seasons, our relationship with the divine also cycles through growth, stillness, and renewal. Another vital aspect of maintaining this connection is service to others. Jung understood that the search for the self is not a selfish act, but a way to enrich the world. When we heed the divine call in our lives, we often discover a purpose that involves helping others, whether through acts of kindness, empathy, or meaningful work. In this context, service is not an obligation, but a natural expression of our connection with the whole. Connecting with the divine is a process that can transform how you perceive life and the signs around you. If you found this content helpful, don't forget to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel for more insights like this. share it with anyone who might benefit, and check out the suggested videos on the end screen. They'll deepen your reflection. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.